Do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button, guys, if you're new to the channel, and especially if you enjoyed this video. So, I've been hearing rumors that Anthony Joshua might get rid of his trainer, Rob Mccracken, and but I want to talk about this little article that I read, and it's an article where they interviewed, or I believe they took this from a video, an interview or something, but it was from former super middleweight champion and now retired George Groves. And in the video, George Groves, in the article I read, George Groves explains that he believes that some of the changes that Anthony Joshua has to make is within his team. Within his team. And when he talks about within his team, he's basically talking about like his trainer, his strength and conditioning coach, the people who help prepare Anthony Joshua when he prepares himself for a fight, for an opponent, right? To get himself in, fight shape. And one of the things he says is that he thinks that maybe Anthony Joshua is afraid of the backlash, basically the criticism that he would receive if he fired Robert McCracken. Because obviously, if let's say we heard tomorrow, breaking news, Anthony Joshua fires Robert McCracken, and then he announces that he's chosen another fighter. Kind of like, you remember when Gennady Golovkin chose, out of nowhere, they did a press conference, and Gennady Golovkin introduced that his new trainer was what's his name? Jonathan Banks. Imagine we hear one day, a week from now, breaking news: Anthony Joshua fires Robert McCracken, and then he has some type of press conference, and there he basically makes public his new trainer. This is my new trainer. He was right for the team. I'm pretty sure he would get some criticism from that, from people. Is basically what George Groves is saying. Like, he feels that maybe Anthony Joshua is worried about his image. Like, because he's supposed to be loyal to his team, and if he were to just sack his trainer, Rob McCracken, the guy who made him a unified champion, that would, I guess, it would just look bad. It would like tarnish his image or something. But I'm guessing that's what George Groves is trying to say, basically. And because, when it comes to Joshua, he has this image, right? He's this nice guy. He is very friendly. He's a humble champion. He's like a sponsor's dream when it comes to sponsoring an athlete, right? He doesn't say anything out of line. He's very humble, very respectful. He's the guy that a sponsor would love to sponsor for him to sponsor their products. Because like I said, he's a very humble type of dude. And I guess what George Groves is trying to say is, like, he feels that maybe Joshua feels like if he gets rid of somebody like Robert Kraken, a guy who's basically been there for him throughout his entire career, that would make him look like he was unloyal or something, right? Like unloyal, like he just threw Rob McCracken under the bus just for one loss. This is how I feel about it. If you are a professional boxer, you don't have much time, right, in boxing. Boxing is not something you do for long, especially in the pro ranks, right? When you turn pro, a boxer's career is like 15 years long. It's not like you spent 40 years as a boxer. You spent, like, say you turn pro at 20 and you retire by 36. That's 16 years, and then you retire. Anthony Joshua has said on many occasions, he said that he is thinking of boxing for 10 more years. And he said this at the start of this year. He said he plans on boxing for 10 more years, which means he's 29. So he's basically planning, if he goes through with that, he's planning on retiring by 39, right? Which is I always think that it's good for fighters to retire before their 40s. I don't think it's good for a fighter to be fighting in their 40s. I think they should retire before the age of 40. I've always felt that, because they are very past their prime when they're in their 40s. So that means he only has 10 years. If he sticks with this plan of fighting another until he's 39, he's 29. That's another 10 years. And I think a fighter, if he wants to be the best that he could possibly be, if he wants to get better, improve as a fighter, I think one of the most crucial things a fighter needs to do is change his team, change his strength and conditioning coach, get the best of the best trainers out there. All right. When it comes to Joshua, I think one of the biggest issues I have with him is his stamina issues. Every time he's in a hard fight where it's a very competitive fight, he tends to gas out. I think what he needs to do is fire his strength and conditioning team. I don't know who is his strength and conditioning coach, but that guy's horrible. He's not helping him. He's not helping him when it comes to his stamina issues. He's not. I think he needs to seriously get rid of him, and he needs to get a guy who's going to help him. You get what I'm saying? Who's going to help him improve his stamina issues. Okay. I also think this is why I think it's important for him to get rid of Ron Mccracken. You know, a lot of people have said, you know, why should he get rid of Ron Mccracken? Why should he get rid of him? Ron Mccracken was, you know, I understand that, but this is one of the main reasons. When Anthony Joshua is in a situation where he's hurt, right? He does not have survival skills. He's very poor at that. He does not know how to clinch. He does not know how to grab on. That's an issue because, and you know why he doesn't have survivor skills? It's because Rob McCracken has not showed him that. Rob McCracken has not showed Anthony Joshua that if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're dropped, you're hurt, grab the guy, clinch him, lean on the guy, have him on a headlock. Do what Vladimir Klitschko did. You know, Vladimir Klitschko used to always lean on his opponents. He would clinch them to prevent them from fighting on the inside. That was one way he hit his chin, is by clinching them, by leaning on them, by grabbing them. And one of the reasons he learned how to do that was when he switched trainers and when he went with Emmanuel Stewart. Because before he did that, he wasn't doing that. He wasn't clinching. Emmanuel Stewart taught Vladimir Klitschko how to clinch a dude, how to tie him up, how to hide his chin. And Rob McCracken has not taught Anthony Joshua that. So I think he needs to hire a trainer who's gonna show him survival skills. If he's ever in a situation where he is hurt, where he is gassing out, clinch the guy, hold the guy, lean on the guy. Right? I think he also has to have a trainer who has to show him how to take your time with your opponent, not rush in and try and finish the guy off like he did against Andy Ruiz when he thought he was hurt. You know, also how to be a boxer, really. Be a boxer. Because I think his best bet against Andy Ruiz in a rematch is to be the boxer. I think he has to fight a boxing match against Andy Ruiz. You get what I'm saying? I think he has to do that. So I think he should find a trainer who is good at training fighters to be that boxer, you know, to fight that type of style. You get what I'm saying? A lot of times, you know, I understand that people say, well, Ron McCracken was the reason he became a champion, but he's not the only trainer out there. There's several boxing trainers. You mean to tell me Ron McCracken is the best guy for Anthony Joshua because he got him all those belts? There's other trainers out there. Lennox Lewis was a champion before he got knocked out against Oliver McCall. The trainer who was with him, I don't know who that guy's name was, but the trainer who was with him made him a champion, right? He made him, I believe he was the WBC champion. But Lennox Lewis still fired him and went with Emmanuel Stewart. And look what happened to him. Emmanuel Stewart made him undisputed champion. Vladimir Klitschko was a champion. He was a champion before he hired Emmanuel Stewart. But look at what happened when Emmanuel Stewart was hired by Vladimir Klitschko. He made him an even better champion. He went on to become a long reigning champion, right? He taught him things, right? So that's what I'm saying. Just because Ron Mccracken is not the only trainer out there. There's several good trainers out there, and I think that he needs to find himself a trainer that is going to show him how to clinch, show him how to box in the back foot. That's something he needs to learn too. How to be not just fight the style that he normally fights. Um, and I think if Joshua is worried about the back flash, he will, the back and the criticism he receives. Who cares? This is boxing. Even if there are people out there that say, "Oh, why? That's disloyalty. You're firing Ron McCracken." This is boxing. He has to just look at it like this. He doesn't have that much time before he's gonna retire, right? So he has to just focus on improving himself. And what he needs to do is find himself a new trainer, in my opinion. Definitely a new strength and conditioning coach. And that's all I have to say, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And I'm out, man. Bye. Peace.